Now that the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament is complete, what were your favorite fights from that tournament? On this video, I am joined by Super Jayain as we give our respective 3 favorite fights from the Inter-Universe tournament. Don't forget to subscribe and spread the word about this video, and check out my Instagram at GeekdomBigD. Once the Dragon Ball fandom found out there was going to be an inter-universal tournament between Champa and Beerus' respective universes, we all made our predictions. Super Jayain joined me on an episode of Talk Dragon Ball the podcast here on Geekdom 101 the channel as we talked and gave our predictions. Well, now, several weeks later, the tournament is indeed over, and Super Jayain is actually back here with me as we're going to give our retrospective opinions about what the 3 best fights were in the Dragon Ball Super Universe 6, Universe 7 tournament. Hello, Jay!
Hey, great to be here, and I'm very excited to talk about what we have in Dragon Ball Super at the moment. It's been a blast over the last few months, I should say. A couple of months it's been now since the last video we did about this, and yeah, we got some things right, we got some things wrong. So
exactly. Now, for this tournament, of course, as always, I do want to get all you guys to interact with us down in the comment section below. Let us know what were your 3 favorite fights of the tournament. Now, we're going to go through the fights here real quick. There were 9 fights total in this tournament. Yeah, there were 9 fights, okay? I'm going to go ahead and list them off here chronologically, just so everybody, just kind of to refresh everybody's memory. Goku versus Botamo, Goku versus Frost, Piccolo versus Frost, Vegeta versus Frost, Vegeta versus Magetta, Vegeta versus Kaba, Vegeta versus Hit, Goku versus Hit, and Monaka versus Hit. And yes, we are going to count that last one because even though it was only, you know, I don't know, 2 minutes, it still counts as a fight. So we are going to list our individual top 3 favorite fights, and then we'll talk about them and tell you guys why. And then, like I said, down below, let us know what your top 3 is. Jay, what is your number 3, your 3rd favorite fight from the Universe 6, Universe 7 tournament?
well, Vegeta wiped out 60% of Universe 6's team by himself, but I didn't want to pick two of Vegeta's fights.
Because you're not a Vegeta fanboy.
I'm not a Vegeta fanboy, and I did like Piccolo versus Frost. Now, this fight had interesting action, and it also added Piccolo's smarts to the fight. I love the fact that Piccolo wasn't really given a chance of winning this fight, but ultimately, if Frost hadn't cheated, Piccolo would have come out of this fight the victor. I like the idea that Piccolo got hit in the leg on purpose by Frost's death beam, I guess you can call it, and then that he used that to lure Frost in close so he could grab Frost and then finish him off with the Mankanko Sappo. It was an intelligent fight, and although Piccolo didn't get the victory, I wish he did. I really enjoyed this fight, and I enjoyed the action that it had in it because it involved a bit of brains, and it did give Piccolo fans something at least to enjoy. I'm sure they wanted to see a win as well, but it did give them something. So spare a thought for you Gohan fans out there as well.
Yes, we finally saw Piccolo fighting after what happened in Resurrection F when he got wasted by Frieza. We're seeing a possibility of him getting revenge. My thing is I never really understood his strategy here with just charging up one move. Maybe he felt that that's the only move that could hurt Frost. I mean, I don't know.
Well, Frost straight up says that move would have finished him had he not dodged it. So
yes, yeah. But did Piccolo know that? I suppose he did, even though Goku told him you don't stand a chance. My number 3 is Kaba versus Vegeta. I love this fight because even though it wasn't much of a fight, I thought the animation was fantastic. I thought it looked beautiful. I loved the character of Vegeta and Kaba and really the juxtaposition of the 2 characters. I love that you have this big, prideful Prince Vegeta and you have the humble, you know, kind of quiet Kaba, who's a righteous person. He's kind of like like Goten, I guess you can say, maybe Kid Goku, in that he's a very likable, righteous, you know, selfless guy. But Vegeta wants to really bring it out of him. And I love how in the fight, he's essentially trying to bring the best out of Kaba because even though he is his enemy, Vegeta has sympathy for him because, of course, he is, you know, it reminds him of his race. Him and Goku are the last ones with the exception of the kids. And I just love the development of Vegeta. I love how Vegeta just tells him, get angry and then tap into that whenever you want to unlock your true strength. And then he's like, he goes blue and he goes, this is the next level above, Super Saiyajin Buru. Like, What a badass episode. I think this was, in my opinion, Jay, I think the Vegeta Kaba episode, the fight, was like the best we've seen Vegeta in this entire series, even more so than the Resurrection F episode 27 finale.
Yeah, well, I'll get to my thoughts on that soon. I definitely love that fight. Good fight.
Your number two.
My number two is Goku versus Hit. And I know what everyone's going to be thinking. Well, maybe not everyone, but a lot of people. How can you not have this as your number one? Well, I had some problems with the inconsistencies, which I've covered in other videos, so I welcome you to go and check those videos out. I definitely enjoyed the first half of the Goku versus Hit fight and this was in episode 39, not episode 38, in episode 39, the first half with Hit's Tokitabashi getting more powerful and him growing naturally as the fight goes on. It's very original storytelling for someone to just magically grow as the fight goes on. Like, Hit doesn't have a choice but to just get stronger, and I really, really enjoyed that aspect. And I loved seeing Goku figure out the Tokitabashi and figuring out a way around it, and basically getting the upper hand on Hit. The fight lost points for me when he basically started using the Kaioken times 10, because I just felt that it diminished the other character that was relevant at the time, Vegeta. And I'm not being a Vegeta fanboy, everyone, but I just feel that you build Vegeta up for 3 arcs for 3 episodes, and then you give Goku a 10 times multiplier. I won't be too critical of it because we do have more episodes to come, but I just felt it was bad storytelling because it makes Goku seem infinitely stronger, and it really was a cool action sequence. Don't get me wrong, that fight had the best action. It had the best action in this arc by far, but the storytelling wasn't on point for me, and for that reason, I give it my number 2 place.
Yeah, I'll go into my thoughts here shortly on that. My number 2 was Vegeta versus Magetta. And the reason why is because, first of all, Magetta was the first guy in this tournament to actually really challenge Vegeta and to challenge anybody, it seems. You could argue that Vegeta could have gone blue and wiped him out, and that's probably true, but I really enjoyed kind of the dread that Magetta brought, how there was fire all over the ring. I really enjoyed that Vegeta was challenged and was kind of worried there. I really loved the return of the Gallic Gun and the Final Flash, of course. And I know that out of us two, I don't think I'm a Vegeta fanboy either, but I can't lie, I kind of love Vegeta, okay? And I love Vegeta here. And even though, we can sit here and say, oh, we can't pick that many Vegeta fights. Vegeta fought in 4 out of the 9 fights. So
yeah, he wiped out 60% of their team. That's a lot.
And I love the fact that Magetta was actually a real challenge for Vegeta. I love that Vegeta would hit Magetta and it would just not even hurt him because he was a big metal man. I love that he would drink the lava and shoot the lava. I love that Vegeta had to essentially curse at him to get him out. Really fun fight. 2 episodes, I believe it was. And I enjoyed it quite a bit. Jay, what is your number 1 and why?
Well, number 1 is Vegeta versus Kaba. I didn't go with Vegeta versus Magetta. The reason being is because that even though this is somewhat relevant in the Kaba fight as well, I felt that the Vegeta versus Magetta fight did lose some value for me. It was a great fight, well choreographed, very interesting over the course of 2 episodes, but I felt it lost and diminished points for me because of the fact Vegeta could have gone Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan at any time during that fight and pretty much ended the fight instantly. I did love the twist at the end of that fight with him insulting Magetta, and that's ultimately how he wrung Magetta out, but just the fact that Vegeta was holding back the entire time. Now, the reason this doesn't take points away from the Kaba fight is because the Kaba fight has great character development, and this is my number 1 fight. I love this fight because it just really builds on Vegeta's character, and it possibly builds Kaba up to be a returning character in the future. Of course, this is a possibility and nothing has been confirmed, but I love the way Vegeta reacts to Kaba not basically being able to transform into a Super Saiyan. Kaba and Vegeta are pretty much even in their base forms, and that itself speaks volumes about how powerful Kaba is because Vegeta is now able to utilize God Ki. So Vegeta basically tells him to go into a Super Saiyan, and he doesn't know how to, and with this we get to see Vegeta coach Kaba in a way that you don't really initially think Vegeta's coaching. You think Vegeta is returning somewhat to his old arrogant ways, but he's actually coaching Kaba, and that is great character development. And the actual choreography of this fight was better than the Hit versus Goku fight for me because of just the little subtle things they did on screen, like having Kaba see Vegeta through his pupils and then have Vegeta disappear with a punch to the stomach and then telling him never forget this pain. That it was just a really well-written episode, well choreographed, and I really enjoyed it. And like I said, the Goku fight was all action and could easily be many people's number 1s, but just the inconsistencies in that one with Goku saying that previous episodes, stamina was a problem in his Super Saiyan form, Super Saiyan God form, sorry, and then using it with Kaioken didn't make a lot of sense for me because ki and stamina, even though Toriyama's done a diagram separating them, they are one and the same thing and they are connected. You can't have bad stamina but good ki control. It's pretty much impossible, as proved by Golden Frieza. So I just feel like that is the main reason that this fight beats the Goku fight, because I felt the Kaba and Vegeta fight had better character development and better storytelling.
Fair enough, fair point. My number one is Goku versus Hit. And although I agree with you about the inconsistencies of Goku using the Kaioken now and why he didn't use it previously, and of course, possibly him surpassing the Kaioken's issues, there were some inconsistencies here. Also, the time skip technique that Hit used, again, it's almost impossible to explain from a real world perspective because it really makes no sense scientifically. But you got to remember, this is Dragon Ball. It's fantasy. It doesn't make sense. I thought this is my favorite fight purely based on the complete package to me. The presentation was incredible. The animation was top notch. The choreography was amazing. It was the first time we saw a truly, truly, truly badass moment since, I believe, episode 27 or even episode 11 of Dragon Ball Super when Goku fought Beerus and they had that epic fight in that episode. We saw Masako Nozawa at her absolute best, portraying Goku. We haven't seen this Goku in a long time doing the Kaioken. An incredible, just colorful, incredible looking fight. The Kamehameha was amazing. And even though I did feel, Jay, that this fight was a bit anticlimactic with its ending, it does leave room open for a rematch because it's implied. Well, not really implied, but it is stated from Goku that the Kaioken burned his body out, and he actually says in the episode that, I was already done because the Kaioken burned me out, which, okay, that's fine. That tells me that Hit was actually stronger. That tells me that because Hit was still in there and we didn't even see Hit at his full potential. And that's the thing. We did not see him at his full potential because he couldn't showcase his full potential because the rules wouldn't let him kill anybody. So again, that makes me wonder, what if these guys fought all out? I think Hit would win. I really believe he would win.
It was very interesting, that dynamic in that fight, and it's pretty much established now that the only way to beat Hit easily is if you're significantly stronger than him and you kill him straight away at your maximum power. Otherwise, he will improve to your level quite quickly. That's the way they've certainly built Hit's character to be, and I really like that storytelling. It's great storytelling.
He is the toughest guy they've ever faced, not including the gods, and I absolutely agree with you. And he's actually, another reason why I put this as number one is this is the only fight where I actually felt there was drama. This is the only fight, and out of all these fights, because let's be honest, it was fun to watch, but it does not compare to the old Dragon Ball tournaments at all. It does not compare because those fights had drama. They had, great storytelling and arcs, like you said. It was seesaw battles. Most of these fights in this tournament were one-sided, which I really don't like. However, I thought this was the one fight. This was the one fight that was not one-sided. Both guys clobbered each other, and at the end of the day, they were both very exhausted. Even though Hit would have probably won, they were both tired. And to me, it felt the most like the classic Dragon Ball action-packed fights that I love. So even though you said that it's all action, I'm agreeing with you, and I think that's kind of why it wins. But I will agree that Kaba versus Vegeta does have the best development of anything in the series. However, one thing that we have to also explain is that what we're saying here is going to be impacted based on what they do in the future, because if both Kaba and Hit go away and we never see them again, both fights lose value. Whereas if Kaba comes back and becomes Vegeta's student, or if Hit becomes Goku's new rival or something like that, at least at that point we can say that these fights actually meant something because they planted the seeds for stuff in the future. That remains to be seen.
Yes, and it will be very, very interesting. And I hope that these two characters return. And you never know, because they are in the new closing theme for Dragon Ball Super. So you would hope that they return in the future. Absolutely.
I want them all to come back, even Botamo and Magetta. I want them all to come back.
Oh, especially Magetta. Magetta was a great character. Love Magetta.
I love Magetta, yeah. I want to give him a big hug. So, like we said at the beginning, what are your 3 favorite fights? Let us know in the comment section below. As always, please make sure to go check out Super Jayain's channel. I will put a link down below. Super Jayain. The one thing about Super Jayain, folks, that he has in common with me, more than even our love of the opposite sex, is that he is very honest, sometimes at the behest of some people. So if you can't handle
Yeah.
the heat, but if you don't want
Yeah.
to be bullshitted, you
If
should go
if
over there.
if you can't take criticism about the show having bad storytelling, then I'm not gonna tell you to go subscribe. My channel's not for you. But if you want honest reviews and opinions on the show, I'm unbiased.
Except
I
for
do
Vegeta, because you're a fanboy.
Oh, whoa. That's a that's an ongoing funny joke. I openly admit Goku is stronger than Vegeta, and probably in the long run always will be. But I don't like it when they bring contrived stuff out to make him infinitely stronger than everyone else. Which there's not enough characters in I feel that are being utilized in the show already. So, which I'm hoping that's what the future's changing. I hope we're bringing Hit in, hope we're bringing Carbon, and that we're getting an exciting future with more characters rather than just Goku all the time.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing is for certain, you can't say Jay's not a fan of Dragon Ball, because he spent a lot of money on Dragon Ball throughout his life.
Thank you.
Yes, a lot of money. All right, so thanks again for watching, folks. We'll catch you down the road.